Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullah. Euzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi şrah li sadri ve yessir li emri ve hlul ukdeten min lisani yefkahu kavli ve ceal li veziran min ehli Harun ahi üştüd bihi ezri ve eşrik fi emri. كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Amen. We have studied up from chapter section Sad up to 29th verse. We studied the last verse that we studied last week, 28. Would we treat those who believe and do righteous deeds like those who spread corruption on earth? Or would we treat those who are the God conscious in the same manner as the wicked? Now, it means God is saying that we are not going to treat them, generally understood, equally. The wicked people and God conscious people. Excuse me, my throat is... I'm sorry. Now, we don't treat them equally. We have to understand that this verse refers to the hereafter, sure, and most of the classical scholarship referred it to the hereafter, but in principle, we read these kind of verses as referring to the hereafter, but at the same time, the hereafter needs to be confirmed. Therefore, I have to have some clues about the truthfulness of these kind of news that I received from the Quran, so I have to confirm it. We touched upon it a little bit, but one aspect we missed out last week. I think the time was, either it slipped away from my mind or the time was constrained, so up, and I didn't want to go into it. This aspect is that we see that in this word, not necessarily that the believers are entertaining the life and they are really treated well. So whatever I want as a believer, God will grant me or bless me with what I wanted, etc. And unbelievers should be miserable, in miserable position, but the reality doesn't show that. Not only in property-wise also, some believers may suffer. We touched upon this. Some believers may have some sort of problems in their life. But in fact, these problems, if it is not biological based, it must be from our lack of awareness or consciousness of the content of belief, or what belief requires us to have an attitude in this world, which kind of attitude we should have. We may not be aware of it. We touched upon this aspect, but how about the material life? It seems to be, especially nowadays, the Muslim world is really, suffering a lot, if you like, compared to other countries, physically. So we understand that Quran always says physical, temporary experience of this life is a means of education, training. So we should use it as a training, as a means of education. So we should benefit from it. So we understand that God doesn't really physically, apparently favor the believers, but spiritually, definitely so. Iman automatically brings peace in one's heart, in one's spirit, in one's mind as well. I cannot really confirm something, and I'm troubled if my mind rejects something and another source says this is not what you think. As long as I'm not satisfied with it, my mind is disturbed. And even if I apparently may say, it may be so, I don't know, people, the experts say so, but from within, I am always carrying the burden of doubt. And this doubt is not really a stimulus or functions as a stimulus for me to investigate it, but as a means of disturbance. So it disturbs me. Let me get rid of this. There's something here. Let me see here. Okay. No, what happened? Okay. The same thing. It doesn't go. Okay. Let me see. Up. Here it is. Right. How do we reconcile this apparent contradiction? Apparent contradiction, because physically, a believer may suffer, whereas a non-believer, rejecter of the truth, may be prosperous. Yeah, this is physically. I understand this, but we have to look at the case deeply. While the unbeliever, not necessarily it should be so, but maybe it is the case, most of the time it is the case. An unbeliever is prosperous. Okay, while he is prosperous, his spirit suffers. The more prosperous, more wealthy, the more worries, concerns, and also reality, knowing that he is going to lose all of them, he or she is going to lose all of them. Every day, he is losing. The more he accumulates, God blesses, gives him, not doesn't bless, gives him. This is what you want, okay. And the more worries and stronger concerns encompasses his heart, his mind. And definitely death is always up there in the mind and in his feelings, her feelings. So we have to understand that physical prosperity doesn't necessarily bring safety, bring security in one's life. Temporarily, yeah, but human beings are created for permanence. Permanently, never, for an unbeliever. Just you can compare the flip side of this matter. For a believer, even a believer is not given material property. Of course, everybody has to struggle for it in order to sustain their worldly life, but not always that whatever you work for turns out to be producing some profit for you. Maybe sometimes we experience loss as a result of our attempts or struggles or strivings. So we understand that the Qur'an's news is not about prosperity in material wealth, but believers are always prosperous according, if they act according to belief, in their spiritual world. Inner side is peaceful. Whatever is given, he is aware that it is just an introduction to an eternal life, eternal reality. And he's pleased with it. He uses it, but it doesn't mean that we should not ask or seek material property as well. We will see in the case of Sulaiman, he will ask for more of it because his attitude, we will be very careful how it was described or how it is described in the Quran. Inshallah, the following verses will be about the attitude of the Prophet Sulaiman. Verse 29, this is a blessed book, which we have revealed to you so that they might reflect upon its verses. It is signs, ayat, it is miracles. You can understand ayat in both senses. If you understand that the blessed book is, Shema Inan is open for your video. If you understand that, excuse me again, if you understand that, you and I, if we understand that the book is only the Quran or the Bible or revealed scriptures, then you have to say verses, ayat. But we always say that book has, in most of the cases in the Quran, contains two meanings at the same time because they are interrelated to each other. We cannot really separate the revelation in the form of speech from the revelation in the form of action, manifested action or acts of the Creator, which is the universe, which is the revelation. The conscious relationship with the universe, between the universe and human beings, the other conscious relationship is not our concern for the moment. I mean, we can talk about it when we talk about belief in angels, but it is not our subject now because we have to restrict ourselves to our verses here. So we have to understand that human beings studies the universe, finds out the truth in it, but the prophets brings the truth and presents to human beings and asks them to look at the universe under the guidance of this revelation. You will understand that it is revealed. The universe is revealed to you so that you might reflect upon its signs. Then we have to say signs pointing to it is the qualities of its creator. We have to understand that. If we understand that this is a blessed book, in bracket, the universe, the existence, then we have to say they might reflect upon its verses / signs. Both of them are grammatically, Arabic grammatics allows us to understand these ways, depending on how you really understand kitab. So written, both of them are written kitab. The universe is a written kitab. The Quran or the Torah, whatever, are also written books. And also this verse is liyadabbaru. In fact, it is the shortened form of لِيَتَدَبَّرُوا. We are not studying the grammar, okay? So we are not going into it, but يَتَدَبَّرُوا means reflect, not only reflect, continuously reflect, deeply reflect, stay on it. I mean, just read and pass. No. Really ponder over it, يتدبروا, so that you will get really lesson from it. You will come up with a conclusion from it. So ليتدبروا means deeply and continuously, when going deeper and deeper. That's what it means. So those who are endowed with insight, what does it mean? وَلِيَذَّكَّرُوا, and remember, and then آياته وَلِيَتَذَكَّرَ أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. So they take them to heart. Now, dhikr, remembrance, may take place in mind. You know something, but it may slip away from your mind, or my mind, and then or you may somehow forget it, or don't really realize the importance of it, and it has no, this remembrance, this memory may not have really effective presence in your mind, active presence in your mind. So what the Quran says, ulul albab is those with insight. Insight is translated. Okay, and insight means not only superficial understanding, but deep understanding, somehow close to the meaning. But those ulul albab, those who have the gist of the message in the sentence or in the creation. Lub means really the kernel of something, crust of something. So you understand that deep into it, understand what it really means. So it needs a deep reflection. That's why yadabbaru and also yatadhakkar. The words are not only dhakara, remember, or mention, but tadhakkara, it means deeply remember, really continuously and deeply remember. The emphasis is this: superficial studying the universe doesn't help you as well. Superficially studying the Quran, reading the Quran, yes, it reminds you, the creator, the speaker in the Quran. Yes, it helps you understand some reality, but not really as much as your mind, your spirit need to be satisfied. Now, belief requires spiritual satisfaction. It means your mind, your spirit must be completely in peace, serenity. I am sure who I am. I am sure what I am doing here. Sure. So no worries really attack on your mind. No serious worldly concerns discomforts your peace, disturbs your peace. That is really Iman, what the Quran means, Iman, to have the security not not in insurance security. Your security system in your house or something. Security in your existence, security in the meaning of your life. That is what we have to seek for, or really strive for it, to receive security. How? Deep reflections, deep thinking, and also having a deep understanding of the reality, which means goes into the heart of the reality. That is worth living in this world. So I would say, if I experience this maybe once in my life, it is really worth or taking the problems or troubles of this life on my shoulder, running up and down. What happened this? What will happen this? Why did it happen to me? And also my relationship with others. Why this friend talk in this way to me? Okay. You understand you are needy. You understand your existence is fragile. You understand you cannot guarantee anything. Beautiful understanding, realization of the truth of our existence. Inshallah. Let's go once. All right. One more. If you have any concern, let me see. Okay, here we go. Let me take this here, all right, and make it so the participants list as much as I can. Let me say this also. Let's do some technical things, adjustments that I need to do. No. Oh. Okay. Excuse me, just excuse me, but I'm very handicapped about these technological things. So did I manage? Somehow, yeah. Okay, like this. Now adjust. So inshallah, please raise your hand or open your mic. Okay, Farah, go ahead. Thank you.
So, Assalamu alaikum, you said that belief is to have security in the meaning of your life. And last time we defined belief as like a logical conclusion. So how can you go from a logical conclusion to having this serenity and peace that you're talking about?
The microphone was off. So very good question. Yes, because we think that mind and our feelings are independent. Yeah, they are different entities, if you like. I mean, somebody may argue that whether we can call it entity or not, but for the sake of my very narrow vocabulary, you can understand what I mean. So different entities, yes, they are. Like my hands and like my arms. Have you noticed that if a person is arrested nowadays by police, what do? They put the shackle on his wrist, 2 hands, and put it at the back. That's it. Why? He cannot run. He cannot run away. What we think that we are running with our legs. No, all our body, my mind, my eyes, my ears, and my leg, my arm, everything together. We cannot, although arms are not legs. Yeah, you are right. Mind is not heart, satisfaction of heart, but mind and heart works together. Have you ever seen yourself? Well, I'm not asking, by the way, so Fariha asked the question, I think. Now, I'm not speaking to Feriha personally, and I'm not asking him. Everybody can ask this question to himself or herself. So I am asking myself herself. I don't remember getting my shopping list, looking at my kitchen, and my most of the time is full refrigerator. I still go to do shopping. That's the 21st century civilization. So we go there. I know I should buy this. I should buy this. How much? How much? I may make the calculations from my mind, and also talking about the matter in terms of not let's say, what is the word? Cumulative? No, quantitatively. Not qualitatively, quantitatively. I think the pronunciation may be horrible. Please excuse me for my beautiful English. So it means numbers or weights or price. When I go to shop, it may not happen exactly because I said I'm going to buy, let's say, simple example, oranges. This is the season. But I see that oranges are old or not, doesn't look okay. Do I buy it? No, I don't. What happened? My feelings said, no, don't buy it. My mindset says, I have to buy oranges. My feelings said, no, not this oranges, and there's no good orange, so forget about it. Buy instead something else, grapes or something else. So excuse me. Just a minute. Okay. My mind, if my mind is not satisfied, how can I have a satisfied feeling? Impossible. My mind gets the information, collects the information. I repeat this subject a lot. Let's understand each other. How are different parts, if you like, human parts, function together or in cooperation? My mind looks at the matter and physically observes it and tries to describe even the beauty of it in physical terms. Yeah, it's red, the form is really perfectly arranged, symmetric, etc., etc. The harmony of the rank, that's my mind says. But my feelings loves it or doesn't love it. And something may look to somebody ugly, but it may look to me beautiful because not only the mind, physical observation of the matter, but my feelings rejects it or for any reason, doesn't matter the reason, or accepts it or confirms it, whether it's lovable or not. Now, what am I trying to say? When mind is satisfied, it needs the confirmation of the satisfaction by the feelings. That's why we think, we look at the universe and conclude that this universe must have a creator. So what? How do I love the creator? I hope we all do love the creator. How do I love the creator? With my mind? No, my mind just a mathematical formulations, works only through mathematical formulations, calculations. It means the material appearance of the matter, the material quality, it is soft or hard, it is big, small, or I don't know, straight or twisted, whatever. But my feelings concludes completely different side of the matter. If my mind doesn't reject, sort of doesn't confirm, excuse me, doesn't confirm something I cannot tell my feelings to love it. Very explicit and a little bit extreme example to make the case clear. If I never ever experienced mango, which it was the case before I came to the United States, I never seen mango. I never eaten mango. I didn't know even existence of it. Can I love it? Can I enjoy the taste? I don't know. My tongue didn't taste it. And then my feelings will confirm it or reject it. It means, very briefly, to add a very good practical question, very briefly, mind and feelings work together, but that is my personal suggestion, personal experience. You may like it, you may just reject it, put it aside. First, mind must be satisfied. First, mind must have an experience, physical experience of something. And mind must have the formulations of the things or reasoning between, oh, this is made of, let's say, clothes. For example, yes, strings, I think. No, I don't know I didn't remember, couldn't remember the word. Thread, I think. The carpet, I'm looking at the carpet now. It is made up, I think it's called thread, isn't it? Or string or
threads. You are correct, Dr. Ali. Threads.
Yeah, but well, my mind says, not my feelings, my mind says, definitely these threads cannot make the carpet. They have no conscience. Well, impossible. Even somebody tells me that 10 billion years, not only 13 billion, 100 billion years, the strings, wind happens, something happened, accidentally developed this way, that way. It is in the nature of the string. I see nothing in the nature of the string. I see nothing in the nature of the atom or particles, although we may not really observe them at all, but just calculations. These are the results of the calculations and looking at the effect. But from the calculations, from the effect of the existence of an atom or particle, or whatever you call them, I see no consciousness, no choice, anything. So simply because my mind is not satisfied that the carpet cannot be made by, I mean, science says made of, but our concern is made by. So the carpet cannot be made by the string because string doesn't have the notion of beauty, doesn't have the capacity to choose, to decide, and doesn't have the capacity to make it so even, symmetric. The decoration must be symmetric because I see in front of my carpet, the decoration is symmetric. Symmetric cannot happen independently developing and just exactly becomes symmetry. That's why Qur'an uses symmetry a lot. Zawjain, zawjain, zawjain. In many aspects, this word is extremely important. Impossibility of the combination of two things supporting each other, complementing each other, although having contradictory nature. It is incredible to explain to my mind. So what happens? My mind rejects it. So, and then my feelings comes there. I love this beauty. I love the softness of this carpet. I love the color of this carpet. And it is exactly I expected this kind of material to be. I love it. I must pay whatever it is. So it goes and it tells your mind, say that, go and buy whatever the price it has. No, mutual, they work mutual. So satisfaction of mind concludes satisfaction of the heart. Without the satisfaction of mind, that's my understanding, and also some people, I'm not the inventor of this understanding, very rare people, if they accept this, if the mind is not satisfied, heart's feelings cannot. It is as if it is the prerequisite for the feelings to get satisfied that the mind will be or must be satisfied. That's what my understanding. So belief starts with the process of mind saying that this needs to be created, therefore there must be a creator. This is something like mathematical equation, rational reasoning. But afterwards, those feelings say, yeah, if I exist, I must have a source of existence. So feelings say, yeah, that's it. That's what I am looking for. In order to get satisfaction, they work together like this, as far as I understand. So we cannot really separate from one side of human being from another. They work together, but in order to walk, you have to have the legs. But without the arms, with your leg, let's say run, not walking was maybe possible, but difficult, some difficulties, but running, no, you can't run fast without the help of your arm. That's why we have to combine our all, bodily, for example, stomach works perfectly, but the other rest of the, let's say, rest of the digestive system doesn't work. It's no good. They must work together. For example, if the kidneys don't work, you are in a trouble. Yeah, but your stomach works perfectly. Doesn't help. They must work all together. Once it happened, my heart somehow worked perfectly, but not my lungs. So working hard wasn't good at all. So they had to do something. Anyways, we shouldn't really. We always use this motto or slogan, if you like. Human beings are a human being is a one unit, cannot be divided into anything, separated or divided. So we have to see the human capacity working together. I don't know when this materialist physics and materialist biology deny the spirit, but it doesn't make sense. I know my feelings, whether they deny it, they reduce it to the function of brain also, even it is, if it is the function of brain also needs to be created and prepared by a conscious being. We call it orderer, some people call it designer, creator, but I don't, designer is a narrow thing, within an order, consciously, perfectly given existence within an order, perfectly working with the rest of the body. Anyway, I really deviated from the subject. I'm sorry for it. Okay, shall we go to 30? Inshallah. Now, let me see what 30 says. Now, we granted Solomon to David. I always say that this Quran is strange. So what we were talking about, what is it to do with Solomon? What is it to do with David now? What an excellent servant he is. Did I ask you who Solomon is? Solomon is or David is? Oh, what is this jumping going on here now? And indeed, he constantly turned to God. Now, we have to think that there must be a reason for this jumping. Why? The previous discussions were about human feelings, our relationship with the word, our relationship with the feelings, etc. Now it is time to give an example from a prophetic life. It means a real life experience example. I need how it works. That's why we have to read the following verses in order to understand the previous verses. Sarah El-Alam wrote, my needs and the universe are made compatible to serve me. Zawjain. Yeah. Your body and your spirit are also really made compatible to serve your being. You know, the problem that materialist people are struggling now. When we say, I am conscious of my existence, okay, it is my mind. Okay, they say, excuse me, your consciousness and you, who are they? Two different entities? What are they? No, okay, human beings or the subject of consciousness is human being. We call it, the Quran calls it ruh, spirit, but because they don't believe in spirit, they reduce every existence into a material being out of just one atom or something exploited out of nothing. So ridiculous story, as if written for a child entertainment. Okay, people buy into it. Not inshallah, none of us really takes it seriously. So subject is important. Subject. Now, when I say my ruh, whatever makes me, but I have consciousness, it means I include consciousness. I have mind, my mind includes me, in spirit includes all of them, all elements. How about matter? With the meaning of my body, it is in my spirit, because my spirit grasps the meaning of my body. Material side will go to the grave, don't worry about it, but the meaning will repair to me. Will remain with me. So we have to be careful what we are talking about, or these people have to be careful what they are talking about. They just run away from one area into another when they are really squeezed with no answer for their claims. They just run away from it. So consciousness and human self is two parts of the same entity. What makes me as a human being? So We granted Solomon to David. All right, what an excellent servant he is. So now he's just describing that Solomon is a very Ni'mal abdu innahu awwab. Yeah, okay, you can use it in both sense actually. What an excellent servant he is. Indeed, he constantly turned to God. It means Suleiman here. Look, we have to bear in mind that he is always awwab in the Quranic language. He constantly turns to God. Actually, this he constantly turned to God is a certain way of understanding the Quran, which I personally and some of the scholars don't agree, because innahu awwab cannot be understood as turned in the past. Solomon, in the example, this is an example, turned in the past. We always say we have to find ourselves in the prophetic narrations. It means whatever is told in the Quran, whatever the example is given in the Quran, it is my example. So, innahu awwab must be understood according to certain, but not very generally known scholars, turns to God. According to classical scholarship, generally speaking, not all turned to God in the past, because referring to a man's life happened in the past. But the Quran doesn't narrate a story from the past in order to narrate a story, in order to narrate me, my reality. So I have to understand the Quran in the present tense. Even refers to the future and the hereafter, I have to practice it in the present tense. Of course, my future must be taken care of by my absolute creator. So if the creator is absolute, he is beyond time and space limitations. He must be. If my creator is beyond time and space, my existence belongs to him. I cannot really speak about my life in terms of past, present, and future. I am experiencing my existence right now through my existence and through the existence of the universe, through the presence of the message of God. Always I am concerned with my present time. We have to understand, we need to understand this. Always in the present time, which means Quran is speaking to me right now. Universe is witnessing what it signs to right now. And my mind, my spirit experiences all this. My mind thinks and my spirit really experiences it right now. Yesterday and tomorrow will be with my infinite creator, absolute creator. As far as he is concerned, it is ever present. As far as I am concerned, I am only experiencing present time. So we cannot read the Quran as talking about past event and future event, if you understand me. I mean, it doesn't mean that I am denying the next creation. Oh, next creation is my necessary conclusion. There must be continuation of my life. As I experience the death of other people, not yet. I did not yet experience my death, but when I experience my death, I am out of universe. So I am not subject to past and future and present anymore. I will be free, inshallah. So the Sulaiman was an excellent servant because he always turns to God. If you and I, we want to be an excellent abd, the servant means abd, really, the cognizant entity of, the cognizant, God-conscious entity of my existence. I will call it abd in the Qur'an. But because of this lack of vocabulary in the English language, they say servant. Well, it is better than saying slave anyways. So he constantly turned to God. Slave serves the master. I don't serve the master. I'm just being served by my master. I'm very happy with my master. He serves me every time, constantly, mashallah. Okay, alhamdulillah. So turn to God, it means turns to God. We have to read it. But what did he do then? Okay, let me see how he experienced this feeling or this attitude. When the well-trained, swift horses were brought before him in the evening, the evening is Bil Ashi, yes, in the late afternoon. Ashi means really, or Isha means really late afternoon. It means, but it is translated evening, simplified it. It's okay. When the horses were brought before him in the late afternoon, let's call it in this way. It is important. We have to keep the scenario in our mind. So it is in the late afternoon. What? They, soon the day will disappear. They will disappear, and it will be veiled by darkness. So we don't like darkness. Not to sleep, or that is different. If you want to function as a fully human being, then we need light. So we have to see what's going on. It means we have to realize what the truth is. That is my day life. It means representing day life. While I am sleeping, I am not aware of anything. So it is not worth really living for in order to sleep. We have to, inshallah, yeah, we have to be awake always. So in the late evening, because we will get our mind ready. Really, this Sulaiman story, like every other story, are very delicately designed or presented to us. Late evening, if we are, I'm not meaning that you are, but not I am, though I'm always included in it. That's the figure of speech. If we are, if we fall into negligence, suddenly evening happens. Be careful, very careful. Suddenly evening happens. What does it mean? Darkness veils everywhere. We don't realize, what am I doing in this world? What is the purpose of my existence in this world? Nothing. Everything slips away from my mind. That is why this scenario is going to be presented to us, which is taken in the late afternoon. Okay, we have to be very careful not to be carried away with the stories that we are hearing about the Prophet Sulaiman, mostly influenced by, let's put it in general sense, Israeliyat, storytelling, turning the revelation into a storybook. That is something serious. We have to be very careful, inshallah, inshallah. That's why if we hear something from Sunday school, those who join Sunday school or the Friday sermons, we have to be very careful. Okay, we don't have much time, but let's try to study the following verse, inshallah. Because the previous verses are just the preparations of our mind, what will happen to the example of the Prophet Sulaiman, inshallah. Let me see. Verse 32, he said, I love to love good things. Be careful with the structure. إني أحببت حب الخير. أحببت حب الخير. Not أحببت الخير. What does it mean? Not I love good things, but I love, let's say, the love of good things. It means loving quality of the good things. I'm very happy with my creator who provided me with the quality that loves something. That is the source of joy for my life. So I love this quality. Be careful. No, I love to love good things. But if we don't pay attention to this kind of structure, then we say, I love to love good things, and becomes in this story what? I love the good things. That's what we hear in the storytelling type of studying the Qur'an. Because of remembrance of my Lord, now the problem arises here. An dhikri Rabbi. Now, I love loving sense in I'm very pleased, it means. I'm very happy that I love this sense, because if I didn't have the sense of loving the good things, I wouldn't be aware of the good things at all. So I wouldn't appreciate the one who created it for a good, beautiful reason. I wouldn't appreciate it. So I wouldn't be able to understand how the creator of these things is being generous to me and entertaining me in this world. Think about it. You don't have the sense of love. How can you really conclude that even you say these things rationally you and I say, these things need a creator, okay, I don't love him because I don't have this sense of love. It's meaningless. So, okay, creator is there, all right, I understand. That's it. Finished. Do I have anything in relationship with it? No. So if he is there as a creator, I am here, the user of the property. That's it, or the things. That's it. No connection. Can you imagine if we didn't love each other? If we didn't have any reason to love each other, because we ignore each other? Do you understand this now, inshallah? Now, because of remembrance of my Lord, this is a this understanding is adopted by very small number of scholars, not majority, because they say, An dhikri Rabbi, from these good things, keep me away from remembrance of my Lord. So it becomes in the Israeliyat, the Sulaiman love the good things of this world. Look at, I missed it. I love to love good things. I missed that. Love the good things of this world, and they keep him away from remembering God. Let's make it simple. Why? Because an has two meaning, double meaning. And from, away, or because of this, two meaning. For this reason, the two meanings and gives the meaning to the verb. So depending on the context, in some context it means keep it away. For example, keep me away ani. But if I say because of this and something, I mean, I'm not really good at explaining the grammatic structures with a appropriate vocabulary, but be careful. And in this context, because he loves the love of good things, how do you say, how can one ever imagine the sense of loving is not, the sense of loving is causing and keeping us away from remembering God? Is it possible? Sense of loving, because the subject is sense of loving. Impossible to understand that Suleiman loved the good, well-trained horses because of this. And the story starts now. He missed the Asr prayer, late afternoon prayer. Why? There is no mention of it. It is Israeliyat. No, not in the Quran. Quran doesn't say he missed the prayer. How do you calculate that? Out of blue. So it can't be. And also grammatically, yes, possible, depending on the context, but in this context, impossible. So we have to understand that the Suleiman, because of the love of good things, Suleiman missed the Asr prayer. Excuse me, sir, he's a prophet. He must be an example, the perfect example for me. And even I wouldn't do that, inshallah. I wouldn't do that. So do you think Suleiman has, in the example, of course, had weaker iman than I have? Impossible. My iman is the weakest. Impossible. Cannot be an example. And also God should not be telling me such a bad person, narrating such a bad person in order to teach me. But one thing, if God wants to teach me how to correct my mistake, he can give, he gives, actually not can, he gives examples on the prophetic practical life, so that God corrects him and teaches me how to correct myself through this scenario. Did you get it? So we see this example. Recently, we studied in one of our classes. I don't remember. I don't know which class was it. So many things are going on. So I don't remember which one was it. I don't remember. Sorry.
Was it on the making judgment when David fell down on his wrongdoing?
Yeah. David.
Frustrated, yeah.
Yeah. How to correct David's. But in the Quran, it is corrected. But in the Quran, Suleiman's, if it was so-called mistake, wasn't corrected. How can I take lesson from it? No, impossible. Suleiman loved the horses for another reason. We will see it, inshallah, next week. Let me see the chat box. What's going on there? Awesome. I would say yes. Okay. Too late. What was the question? You would say yes. Awesome.
Oh no, there was a comment from Colin on the word brought.
I missed Colin's. It is my beloved friend Colin. Welcome. Selamun alaikum. It says alaikum salam. So let me read it seriously because he writes always seriously. Everybody, but Colin is different. Should salam alaikum salam, should brought not be brought? Again, i.e., swift horses were brought before him in the evening. Oh, where was it? Did we come there yet?
Yes, it was in the previous verse. It was a spelling. I think it was a spelling mistake.
Of course. Orida, of course. Thank you very much. But I cannot correct it here. Later on, I will correct it. Thank you. I didn't notice because, you know, my English, brought tea with tea. So I read it brought. I don't know how did I get this. I didn't translate it. I just copy-paste from somebody. So, but it doesn't mean that it is not my mistake and stuff. No. I could have done it. Don't worry about it. I always make this kind of mistakes. Thank you. I will correct it. Thank you. Alia says, can we translate Abid as worshipper? Now, yeah, Alia, it's a good suggestion. I use sometimes this word.
Just like it struck me because like the levels of love in Arabic, one of them is hubb ibadah, and like it is a level of love, and so it just
level of worship. What is the problem with this? Not the problem. It is better than using slave or servant, but sometimes I use worshiper. Prefer to use worshiper, but people reduce worship usually to only prescribed actions like praying, fasting, and giving to charity, etc. These are the worship actions. But is in this class, we understand worship, the attitude. Which kind of attitude you assume for your being while you are living in this world? Either really being conscious of your creator, or you are just immersed in the worldly life and thinking of the world as it appears to be. It is a material entity only. So worship means being conscious of the reality of your existence. So in this sense, but people don't understand it in this way. I'm not saying it's not a good object suggestion. It is the best possible word that we can use in English. Needs more explanation, inshallah. Feriha says, what are the horses referring to? Beautiful things. We will come there, Feriha, next week, inshallah. Our horses are how to say, Ferrari, or I don't know. Some for some young people, BMW or Mercedes, or our beautiful houses, etc. We will have our horses, inshallah, next week. Okay. I love to love good things because of remembrance of my Lord, because these beautiful things remind me of my Lord. And when the horses disappeared from sight, we will come back here. When he was away from observing the horses and reflecting on their creation, how a material, they eat hay and I don't know, some grains, but they are so friendly with human beings. They love serving human beings. Who made this affiliation between me and an animal made of hay? I mean, material substance of it. Who is transferring the word into this lovable position? When they disappeared, it means that he is not in physical relationship with them. They say, bring it, bring it. Yeah, bring it. I want to see it, practice it. So if we want to really be grateful to the delicious food, we have to say, okay, well, when I am hungry, drink some of it, and then I will really appreciate it, inshallah. So without it, love of God cannot be imaginary. It must be practical. That's why we are put in a practical world. We are not in an imaginary world or just remembering something, not practically experiencing it. Practically experiencing it, very human being. But something in the past, we will remember it, but we need always practical experience. We will go into these meanings of this verses, inshallah, next week. Too late. I'm very sorry, extremely sorry, because it is too late beyond our time limit. I have to stop here. If anybody else really urging to say something, they share their concerns or questions or whatever, if they have some sort of objections, I would love it. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله